You can get a ton of new weapons in the second episode of the Fate of Atlantis DLC, including the awesome heavy bladed axe that Hades is using. So let's take an in-depth look in this video. Would be awesome if you could leave a like on the video as it shows your support, and let's go. If you didn't know, I'm doing a giveaway for the upcoming Sacred Oracle pack that will likely be launching this month with this awesome gear set and mount as well. Just follow the link in the pinned comment for a chance to win, and be sure you are subscribed to the channel as well before you enter. We got 2 new legendary weapons in the Fate of Atlantis DLC episode 1, but in this second episode, the Torment of Hades, we get 6 new legendary weapons, and some of them are entirely new and some of them are cursed versions of the familiar weapons, but they will still have unique perks, so are totally worth getting. You get these cursed weapons from killing these special fallen enemies. They will become available as you go, like the first one will appear, you will get 1 item from the fallen set, and then you will get the location of the next fallen enemy. You can go and continue to kill them to in the end get 4 pieces of the legendary fallen set, and after that you will discover a fallen enemy that has the first cursed weapon. The Cursed Gorgonion. And I hope I of course pronounced that right. This is a cursed version of the Gorgonion Xyphos blade that normally has assassin damage, adrenaline per crit, and a low chance to stun enemies on a melee hit. So yes, that one is not that good, but this new version is better and focused on poison, giving you the enhanced poison damage, and it also lets you apply intoxicated damage to nearby enemies. And it means that when one of the enemies gets the poison effect, it will go over to the surrounding enemies as well, like a plague. And that can be super handy of course, so they take damage over time and also have the defense reduced when this effect is applied. So a pretty cool perk to have when fighting multiple enemies, so keep the venomous attack going and you have a pretty powerful sword. There is also a weapon that has a similar legendary perk to this one, but for the fire damage, and I will touch on that one in a second. Let's first continue with a spear that you unlock by killing the fallen enemy that you discover after killing the enemy that gives you the Cursed Gorgonion, if that makes sense. To reach the location though, you will need to have the full fallen armor set, because the entrance to the location where this enemy is protected by a veil that you can only enter after wearing this full set. So you will already have 4 of the pieces after discovering this fallen enemy, and you will get the final piece by following the A New Lease on Death quest and then completing the quest that will appear after that. Anyway, when you're able to enter this cave and kill this fallen enemy, then you will get the Cursed Spear of Achilles, and this one is very interesting. So the regular Achilles' spear has hunter damage, damage with spears, and extra multi-shot damage, where this one is a warrior spear that has extra spear damage and also get the increased damage per enemy engaged up to 50%. Meaning that per enemy that is onto you, so attacking you, you get 10% extra damage that stacks up to 5 enemies, so 50%. So above the 5 enemies, so 6 or more, then it will still be the 50%. And that is pretty good indeed when doing the arena, for example, with multiple enemies that will be attacking you, or just when fighting a large group of people. But if you watch the channel a lot, then you know where I'm going with this, because this perk is actually very familiar. So yes, it was already a mastery level well before this weapon was released. I think when the mastery levels were released, this one was already there. But this was also the set bonus from that leaked Abomination set, or the Mythical Creature set. The files for this one were found on the PC already, and the story was always that the hard mode mythical creatures would release and that you would get this Abomination armor set after killing them. Like this tooltip appeared in the loading screen was not supposed to happen, and we will likely never see this feature. Fingers crossed of course that it will still come, but it's getting unlikely by the day. So yes, it's now interesting that we at least see that perk that was supposed to be the set bonus on a weapon and not on an armor set. Does it mean that they cancelled the hard mode mythical creatures altogether and were like, oh, we still got this perk, let's put it on this weapon? Or does it mean that we can in the end have this gear set and this weapon with the same perk. Because that would of course be pretty nice if it's stacked as well, but maybe we will never be able to do that. Only time will tell, of course. Going back to the cursed weapons, because I love the look as well. Sure, they are similar, but I actually don't mind it because they got this badass glow and the perks are actually way different. So I would totally be down for more of these cursed weapons if it meant that we would get more legendary weapons to the game with unique perks as well, because of course these cursed weapons are easier to make, I would imagine, than a completely new weapon design. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we still got some cursed weapons that I haven't touched on here in this video and that you can get in the second episode. Killing another fallen enemy that you will eventually find will get you the cursed version of the Heracles mace. That is called the Cursed Mace of Heracles. The regular one is not that good with the hunter damage, adrenaline per hit and the 40% damage with bows when above the target. Wait a second, you can of course now fly in the air thanks to the new Chronos time shift ability. Then you are above the target as well, right? So that would mean that this ability in combination with the damage with bows when above the target perk is actually pretty nice. Might be fun to try. Either way, this cursed version is all about tamed animals because they will deal fire damage to enemies now when you have this weapon equipped. We also find warrior damage and heavy blunt weapon damage on this mace, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, overall it's just a fun enhancement that you get fire damage for your animal. So if you go crazy and make a tamed animal build, this weapon will actually be pretty cool, but otherwise it doesn't really do anything. We also get this hunter staff at the beginning of the DLC that has a similar perk, but gives poison damage to tamed animals instead of fire. So again, also not really good unless you like taming these new dog enemies that you of course find in this DLC, because they will be enhanced. No, but if you are using this weapon, it will likely be for the look, because they both look pretty awesome with the cursed glow or this awesome green ball in this magician-like staff. Still holding out hope for a new warrior legendary staff that is not a helix item, although the chances are getting slimmer each day. We also get a new bow in this DLC, actually a cursed version of one of my favorite bows in the game, my most used bow for sure, the Hades bow. Cursed Bow of Hades is the name, so normally it has the instant fire arrows, but now it has the burning applies to nearby enemies legendary perk. So just like with the poison variant, when an enemy is getting the burning effect, enemies around it will start getting it as well, so then they all take the burning damage. And it's pretty cool because here you use a bow, so while shooting from afar and enemies catch fire, then the enemies around it will start taking damage as well. Although you can of course engrave this perk on any other weapon in the game, so also regarding the poison variant. I love the glow on this Hades bow that just looks great on your back as well, or when in the dark. A nice variant that I will be rocking for sure. And this perk is actually nice in combination with the new heavy bladed axe that you get at the end of the DLC, called Hades' Executioner. Because with the fire damage and the assassin damage, like, not really sure why it has assassin damage, it's kind of comparable to the Cyclops axe, while you would prefer warrior damage on this one. Either way, you want to use the flaming attacks ability as often as possible. It also looks really awesome with this blade. So if you then have the cursed bow of Hades on your back, you will easily make surrounding enemies burn after getting the damage over time on one enemy. But it has a special unique perk as well, saying that your crit chance now affects elemental build-up. Although I find it hard to see what is happening here. So first I thought, okay, if I do a crit, then the enemy will catch fire sooner, but this was not really the case. And I don't see my elemental buildup increase if I unequipped or equip this item. And when I have this heavy axe on and then increase my crit chance, then I still see the same elemental buildup. So I'm not really sure how this perk works. Any input is welcome in the comments down below. I will in the meantime be rocking this weapon over my other heavy bladed weapons. I still think that even if we figure out what this perk is, that the other heavy bladed weapons from the Cyclops and the Minotaur will still be better, but I would argue that this is the most awesome looking one of the 3 for sure. We already saw it on the back of Hades, and now we can use it ourselves. You get another legendary item at the end of the DLC, and I actually want to go more in depth on that in a different video, because it's pretty awesome and adds a really cool gameplay feature that I will be toying around with in a future video, so keep an eye out for that. Totally subscribe for everything that says Creed Odyssey. A like on the video would be super appreciated. The weekly reset of course happened as well. You would almost forget with this new DLC. I streamed the weekly reset. You can watch that stream by clicking on the screen, and we'll have a more concise video about that in the future, so stay tuned for that. And we'll have way more videos on the fate of Atlantis and Odyssey in general coming your way, with Ubisoft also teasing some E3 announcements. So I got you covered. You can also check out my other video on all the new abilities and new gear set in this Fate of Atlantis episode 2. For now, I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.